Welcome to everybody at this AGM meeting. It's so good to have all of you listening in. And here you will find the agenda for our meeting. I will do the best I can to keep it as short as possible so that we can get back to the substantive papers. And I also want to remind all that at the end of the AGM, Pamijai Bamu, Dr. Bamu, will be taking a very interesting session looking at the way forward for our African Labour Law Society. So just as a word of welcome, under the first point of the agenda, I would like to welcome our honorary member, Professor Evans Kalula, the full management committee of the African Labour Law Society, the country representatives, and all of the members of the African Labour Law Society. And as mentioned during the welcoming session this morning, it's a great pleasure for the African Labour Law Society to welcome our two new honorary lifelong members, Dr. Johnny Musabayana and also Professor Mpedi. Thank you very much for accepting our question of whether you would be willing to accept this accolade. After our AGM, Pammy will be taking over, but before we get there, I'm going to ask whether there's anybody who is willing to confirm the minutes of our previous AGM that was held on the 6th of September 2018. So if we can just get confirmation from that. So thank you very much for that confirmation, and let us proceed with the next points of the agenda. Under the third point of the agenda, you will find the President's report. And I take it that all of you have already read the President's report that was emailed out to all members of the Society. And what will follow is just a mere summary of what is contained in the President's report. Under the introduction of the report, we mention that the African Labour Law Society has actually now cut the umbilical cord from SASLAW. That is the National Association in South Africa. We have now registered as a voluntary association, and that was for purposes of us being able to open our own separate bank account. And we're really looking forward to this teenage organization to develop into a mature organization, stands on its own feet. And let us hope that we will also be able to say the same as the ILO has done for being in existence for 100 years. Let us hope that in the years to come, well, that's quite a number of years to come, that we will be able to continue with the with this organization for so long. So I hope the slides are up. Everybody can see that. And I'm now moving to the next point, namely membership. It is a proud moment for us to announce that we've got 182 members of the Society, spread over 32 African, 23, I'm hoping 32 already, but 23 African countries. And the Society is continuously growing. So we're very proud of that, but we continue working on the expansion of the African Labour Law Society. Just going back into history, some of you may have attended the second African Labour Law Congress that was held at Cape Town, and you will remember that this conference was also held back to back with the South African SAS Law Conference. And this time around, we're on our own. It's wonderful to have our 132 registered members for this conference. And at the first conference, we conferred honorary membership to Professor Evans Kalula, and now we've got 3 with the addition of our latest 2 honorary members. After that, we had our ILO Centenary Conference, and we must say that it was a huge success, the ILO Centenary Conference that we had at the Future Africa Conference campus at the University of Pretoria, where we had more than 200 delegates registered. We had the South African Minister of Labour, who was also in attendance. President of COSATU spoke, and it was a wonderful conference, and numerous members of the African Labour Law Society also presented at that conference. And it is really with a sense of achievement that we have already sent out now, and I'm asking you all please to look into your emails and to confirm whether you have received the PDF form of the book, as well as the flip chart of the book. It's actually quite amazing. Please don't feel concerned when it asks you about security questions. It is just quite a bit of data that the book will be opening up and eating. So please ensure that you're on Wi-Fi, page through the book, download it. I must, however, say that the PDF version you will be able to keep forever, but the flip book, that will only be live for a period of 3 months, and then you won't have access to that flip book anymore. Then you will have to rely on your PDF version. We also have 500 hard copies of the book that will be delivered in next week, and there is the possibility, if you make contact with our Secretariat, Claire Fincham, that we can even arrange for the posting of that hard copy. That is now finances permitting. Over to the next point on the agenda, dealing with finances. In the President's report, you will find the comprehensive report on our finances. But in the past year, just in summary, you will see that the total income of the African Labour Law Society was 524,425. Our expenses for that period, 344,360, and that also included our pre-launch conference when we attended a session in Gaborone, Botswana, where we had about 50 people in attendance. And we will then move the launching of the African or the Botswana Labour Law Association to either February or March 2021. That is subject to health issues allowing us to do so, but really very much looking forward to that. So in summary, we've got an excess of 180,000 in the bank account. However, we are very conservative, and that is also for the maintenance of our society with those funds. And that 180,000 is how we calculated it. And that would be if all of our registrations for this conference would have been paid up. Unfortunately, we do have still some registrations where we haven't received the money for. But if we do succeed in receiving all of the funds for people who registered for the conference, then that would be our total on the finances. During our past term, we also amended the constitution of the African Labour Law Society. And the main reasons for that were namely to make provision for the setting up of the voluntary association of the African Labour Law Society, but also to clarify the role and function of our country representatives. And our constitution was amended. We also made provision for a different system of voting so that that can be done electronically. And so our latest version of the Constitution would also be available on our website. Please ensure that you visit the website from time to time. Also, some of the full papers that have been delivered today, we will be able to share with our members. So we really appreciate it if you do visit the African Labour Law Society website on its own as well. The Management Committee and the country representatives, we did make mention of that in the President's report, but I will be dealing with those aspects directly after finishing off with this point on the agenda, dealing with the President's report. The next points then on our agenda, points 4 to 8, deal with the nomination of the President and the Management Committee going forward. As per the Constitution of the African Labour Law Society, any serving president has to move on. It's just good for managerial purposes and for rejuvenation. And my time has come to an end as president of the African Labour Law Society. And as part of the nominations, the nomination was sent out for Dr. Pamedzai Bamu from Zimbabwe as president of the society. Under vice president and legislation, Mr. Ruben Philander from Namibia. The secretariat, Ms. Claire Fincham, who's situated in South Africa. And then I will remain on the management committee, but very much more low key. And that is in an advisory role, and also to maintain some of our stakeholder relations that we have developed over the past 4 or 5 years. And then we're also proud, having nominated the additional members to strengthen the committee. Mumedi Tafa from Botswana will also be playing a significant role in the upcoming session that we will have in February and March 2021. We will be launching the Botswana Labour Law Society. Rutendo Mudarikwa from Zimbabwe, and also Keshni Naiker from South Africa. Thank you for making yourselves available for nomination. And as previously mentioned, these nominations were sent out. We didn't receive any objections to these nominations. So thank you for electing these members to the new management committee of the African Labour Law Society going forward. Under the next point, the country representatives. We don't have country representatives of all of the countries from which we have members. But on this list, especially if you enlarge it, you will see starting off from Angola right through to Zimbabwe. I would like to thank all of those members for their willingness to participate as country representatives. And we really rely on our country representatives to assist us in our quest to launch national societies, national labor law societies for their respective countries. And also, of course, if we do send out materials such as, for example, this peer-reviewed accredited book that we're sending out, please assist in distributing it to people who may be interested in labor and social security law in your respective jurisdictions. But we really rely on you to assist us in growing this African Labour Law Society, and then also ultimately your own national societies yet to be established going forward. The next point on the agenda deals with membership fees. Management Committee realized that we've really experienced tough times during this COVID pandemic. Yes, our costs have risen going forward, but we decided to maintain the membership fee of $25 per annum and not to increase that. And we really encourage all of you going forward to please keep up your membership fees. If one registers for a conference like the one that we're doing now, one gets a discount for such registrations. Useful materials are sent out, and we think it is really value for money to be member of the African Labour Law Society for that registration fee. As already mentioned on a number of occasions, next year, during February or March, we will be launching the Botswana Labour Law Society. And we were encouraging, of course, all of our attendees here who are from Botswana to join that association, but also to attend at the Grand Palm when we will be there in person, the new management committee especially, and then to participate going forward. And then talking about the 4th African conference that will be hosted, the new management committee will be thinking about that. I know some of the management committee members are quite keen to go up north or to the Central African parts. Namibia has also been touted as a possibility, but we really look forward to the 4th conference to be hosted going forward, and please keep a watch out for this spot. In conclusion then, before I hand over to Dr. Bamu, I would just like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all members of the society who provided support to me in this starting up years of the African Labour Law Society, for your continued participation, for joining our conferences. It was just absolutely wonderful to get to know more people up in the rest of Africa. Please let us keep contacts. And I also want to hand over the baton now to the new management committee. I would like to thank all of them for their nomination and also for their election. And I really do hope that the African Labour Law Society will grow from strength to strength going forward. And I will certainly remain a dedicated member, and I will definitely continue providing support to the society going forward. On that note, it is my pleasure then to hand over the microphone to Dr. Bamu, who will be looking at the going forward slide, and please engage by posing questions, raising some suggestions as well, and all of the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much to Stefan. At this point, I'm so glad to be here and to serve the African Labour Law Society. But it's important to just really salute a dear colleague and friend. Stefan has really been instrumental in getting the African Labour Law Society on the ground. And we want to thank you so much for your dedication and persistence and perseverance, and just for serving with that heart for building this community in Africa, and with such great humility, but with great passion for the work that we're doing. We would not be where we are right now if we had not had you to start with what seemed to be a vision and a dream, but is a reality, and one that we wish to take forward as we proceed with the society. So I really want to thank Stefan and to really thank Claire, who has been so instrumental, and the management committee for all the hard work that has been done towards having this conference under very difficult circumstances. So, colleagues, honored guests, our members of the society, I'd like to just greet you all and to thank you for taking your time to be here with us. We thought it would be a very good idea to just think about where we are coming from as the African Labour Law Society and look at where we are going, and to really say that this idea of having community in Africa amongst us as labor lawyers is so important, but it's not something that the management committee and a selected few can carry forward. What we really need is for our members to be active, to be ambassadors of the society, and to really, in your own spaces, within your spheres of influence, to work on strengthening the society. And we welcome your suggestions, your questions towards this. But I just would like to highlight a few key points around some of the key areas within the society. The first, I think, Stefan alluded to the selection of the country representatives. As you will have seen, there are several countries that are represented in the society that do not officially have a country representative. So we would really welcome any volunteers, any nominations for country representatives, so that we can have as many representatives within the different countries. And importantly, the country representatives serve as key liaisons that will share and spread the gospel of African labor law and the African Labor Law Society, and importantly also to build the networks within the different countries. I think South Africa is an exception, because the South African Labor Law Society for Labor Law, SASLAW, has been in existence for many years, but in many of our countries, we do not have these societies. So we really encourage the country representatives and people in the different countries to reach out and to find ways to get together and to network, even if it begins informally, in the hope that that engagement and that sense of community will provide an impetus to establishing national societies. So this is very, very important for the strengthening of our regional association. Then the other thing that we've been working on together since we began the African Labor Law Society is the African Labor Law Matrix. And what we did was we posed a set of questions about labor law provisions in different countries. So questions such as, what are the leave provisions in your country? On what grounds can a person be dismissed, and so on. And we asked representatives from different countries to complete this matrix and to share that information as a way of ensuring that we have some broad level of understanding of what is happening in the different countries. This matrix has not been updated in a while, and we obviously have representatives from additional countries that we would like to see within the African Labor Law Matrix. There may be changes in the laws and so on. So we would welcome you to look at the matrix, which is on the website of the society, and to be able to provide feedback and to volunteer to support us in strengthening and building this matrix. And then another thing that we'd like to be doing is to share periodically updates in terms of what has happened. There may be judgments, there may be new pieces of legislation, or there may be amendments to the laws This is very important for us to know what's happening within the different countries. So we would welcome you to share this information with Claire, our very able secretary, and she will make sure that we distribute this kind of information so that we are on the same page and stay updated. And it's also very important, each of us, as I said, should serve as an ambassador of the society. And we have colleagues who have an interest in labor law. Those of us that are teaching and lecturing have students that are working in labor law that will be the labor lawyers of tomorrow, that we'd like to bring into the society. We need to grow our own timber even within the society. And to catch them young or to catch them early is very, very important. Many of us are on social media. So we have a page on Facebook. We have a page, we have an account on Twitter. We also have a LinkedIn page. And we welcome you to like, follow those pages, engage with those pages, and share them and invite colleagues to also follow what is happening on our social media so that we remain active and we remain connected and have some engagement and conversations in those fora. And then the other thing is obviously finances. We have obviously the membership fees. It's important that we pay our fees timeously. And it's also important as we grow the society to broaden our base of sponsors, because, you know, different companies, organizations, you know, have capacity only for so long or only at certain times. And so we need to grow our base of sponsors that we can call on that support the work that we are doing. So those of you that are working in law firms, that work in different organizations or have the contacts that we may be able to approach, we invite you and implore you to do so, so that we can make the necessary connections to be able to build the financial sustainability of the organization, to sponsor all the different activities, the secretariat, social media, and so on. And also where there are openings and avenues and connections to promote the African Labor Law Society, which may be through a newsletter, it may be through an email listserv where we can share promotional material. It may be through your law society in your country and so on. So these are some of the ways that we were thinking that each of our members could in one way or the other contribute within their own sphere of influence and wherever you may be. I do not know if there are questions because I'm not logged onto the other system. Stefan? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Bamu, for the good ideas that you have put forward. I certainly look forward to the growing of the society going forward. We're just checking if there are any questions at this stage, apart from a number of congratulations that have been and thank yous that have been posted. Let me see. There have been a number of congratulations. I don't see any questions that have been posed thus far. So if I can just get confirmation from the rest of the team, there are no questions. And on that note, thank you very much, Dr. Bamu, for taking us through this. And we will have now lunch. And we've got very interesting sessions coming up after lunch. And we look forward to your returning this afternoon. And on that note, thank you very much, Dr. Bamu, and we look forward to seeing you again directly after lunch.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you very much.